The Century series presents the Korean War and the Cold War. As you watch this section, think about these questions. What is the significance of studying the Korean War? Why should we be interested in learning about the Korean War? How can we relate the Korean War to the 21st century? Let's ask some of your peers to see what they think. Randomly selected high school student, what do you think the significance of studying the Korean War is?
I think the significance of studying the Korean War is to show how the capitalists and communists came to physical confrontation.
Randomly selected Russian high school student, what do you think the significance of studying the Korean War is?
In Mother Russia, we believe the significance of studying the Korean War is that it represents the first time America tried to manipulate the UN for their own uses.
Randomly selected Troll high school student, what do you think the significance of the Korean War is?
Well, the Korean War was very significant for us troll folk because it wiped out many of our underground cities.
Let's learn about some significant events that took place during the Korean War. On June 25, 1950, 75,000 communist troops from both Russia and Korea crossed the 38th parallel into South Korea, pushing the UN troops into a small area in the southern tip of Korea. On September 15th, General MacArthur launched a surprise invasion near the coast. This was considered to be the most brilliant military maneuver in history.
Target neutralized.
The People's Republic of China feels threatened by the UN's forces near our border. We intend to enter the war on the side of North Korea.
After the Chinese entered the war, the fighting came to a standstill near the 38th parallel. On July 27, 1953, a ceasefire was signed, ending years of bloody battle. However, an official treaty still does not exist, so technically, North Korea and South Korea are still at war. Let's ask some students what they think about the Korean War. What do you think is the importance about learning about the Korean War?
I think the importance of learning about the Korean War is to learn from our past mistakes so we don't repeat them in the future. In Mother Russia, we believe it's important to study the Korean War because it shows how a war between two great superpowers can be so devastating.
Well, studying the Korean War is important because it taught us trolls some important tactics that helped us defeat the mole people.
Douglas MacArthur was the commander of the UN forces in Korea. However, he was dismissed after publicly criticizing the president for not using nuclear strikes on North Korea and China.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh yeah! No! What is that?
The Korean War had many effects on the people at home. Unfortunately, veterans often suffered from mental psychosis.
Screaming meanies, heads down! Grandpa, it's okay. The war's over.
Let's ask some students what they think about the Korean War. How do you think the Korean War relates to modern times?
The Korean War relates to the Iraq War in that both wars were started because our beliefs were being threatened. In Mother Russia, we believe that the Korean War relates to modern times because it shows that Americans will do drastic things when their beliefs are threatened.
We trolls believe that the Korean War relates to modern times in that just as the Americans were at war with communist Russia, we trolls are presently at war with communist trolls.
As you watch this section, think about these questions. What is the significance of studying the Cold War? Why should we be interested in learning about the Cold War? How can we relate the Cold War to the 21st century? Let's ask some students what they think.
What is the significance about studying the Cold War?
The significance of studying about the Cold War is so that we can learn from the negative consequences of a nuclear standoff.
The importance of learning about the Cold War is that once an arms race begins, it can truly last generations.
In late 1962, Americans heard this horrifying message.
On October 16th, U-2 coverage found the presence of Soviet missiles based in Cuba. We cannot allow the Cubans to have control of such deadly weaponry. Therefore, we have issued a quarantine on the aforementioned country.
In November 1947, during the height of the Second Red Scare, trials were conducted investigating Hollywood screenwriters.
Are you, or have you ever been, a member of the Communist Party?
I plead the Fifth Amendment.
You sure?
Let's ask some students about the significance of the Cold War.
What is the significance of the Cold War?
The significance of the Cold War is to show how war can bring about the development of new technology.
The significance of the Cold War is that new tactics have to be developed to keep up with new technologies.
Joseph Stalin controlled the Soviet Union with an iron fist.
People of the Soviet Empire, Mother Russia has given us so much, so it is only logical that we give back. If you do not agree with our communist ideals, then you will be put to death. If you are not with us, then you are against us.
People in the 1950s lived in constant fear of an imminent nuclear attack.
Children, this is wake up. This is a very important lesson that we have to make sure you remember. Now, what do you do when you see the flash? Duck and cover. It's very good, children. Oh no!
Let's ask some students about how they think the Cold War relates to the 21st century.
How does the Cold War relate to the 21st century?
The Cold War is similar to the War on Terror in that there is no obvious battlefront, and neither is a conventional war.
What do you think sets the Cold War apart from its predecessors?
Well, I think Sean Connery stated that best in The Hunt for Red October. A war with no battles, no glory, only casualties.
Dude, what are you staring at?
Our future.